Welcome to today's mini lesson. Looking at my title slide, can you predict what it will be about? What are we doing today? Today we will learn about a strategy to help us with short answer written responses. The game plan is for me to define the strategy and explain it to you first. Then I will show you 3 examples. Here's the learning target I have set for us today. Cite textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. So why are we doing this lesson today? During this school year, we will read many different texts together. After reading a text, you will be asked to respond to it in writing. What does this mean? This means that you will show your understanding of the text when you answer a question in writing. I will help you be a strategic reader and writer today. What does that word strategy mean? Strategic, strategy. According to dictionary.com, a strategy is a plan or a method used to reach a goal or get a desired result. In this case, your goal is to show your understanding of a text in writing. I am sure that you've never done this, but it has been my experience that some 6th graders prefer to give very short, even one-word answers. Not you though, right? However, this doesn't show understanding. So I have a strategy that will help you write an effective answer. Like a lawyer in a jury trial, a writer must convince his audience of his argument by using evidence effectively. So what is the best way to do this? The best way is to use the ACE strategy. Answer, cite, explain. Answer the question, cite evidence that proves your answer, and then explain how that evidence proves the answer. The ACE strategy. So here's my first example. Question: should college athletes be paid? So you are going to A, answer the question first. Restate part of the question in your answer. Use key words from the question in the beginning of your answer. This creates a topic sentence. So, how would you do this? What would it look like if you did that? College athletes should be paid. So notice I took some words from my question, college athletes, and I put them in my answer. That's called restating part of the question in my answer. And then I answered it. I said they should be paid. You can say they should not be paid if you want to, but notice I restated part of the question in my answer, and then I answered it. Now it's time for C, cite textual evidence. Remember, just like a lawyer, you've got to give some evidence to back up your answer. Nobody's going to believe you just because you said it. You have to give evidence to prove it. Then C, you find a line or detail from the text to prove your point. You cite the text. This is your evidence. Use signal words. Let the reader know you are introducing your evidence. Some signal words you may consider using are the article states, the text says, the author wrote. On page 23, the author states. So these are like sentence starters. They signal to the reader that you are introducing your evidence. It strengthens the organization of your response. It makes your response easy to follow and easy to understand. How about this example of some evidence? C, evidence. The article states, there's my signal phrase, my signal words. While college athletes may not exactly be employees, they are more than just students. Their work which generates exorbitant amounts of money year in and year out, deserves compensation. So I took word for word evidence. I took a part of the article. I borrowed words from an article and put it in my response. I was sure to put those borrowed words in quotation marks. Now E, time to explain. Explain your evidence. Explain the connection between the evidence and the answer. Show that you know the answer because of the evidence. Here's an example. I say that if athletes are making money for the college, then that sounds like an employee. Employees of other businesses make money for them. Here the students are making money for the school, so they are like employees. In the real world, employees get paid. Now, we can extend the strategy from ACE to RACE, or even you could go all the way to RACER. Let's look at one example of this. Example number 2. The R in this case stands for restate the question. Rephrase or restate the question in your topic sentence. A, answer the question that is being asked. Use your answer to write your topic sentence too. The R and the A are usually in one sentence. Now C, cite evidence from the text. Use examples and evidence from the text to support your answer. Finally, E, explain your answer. Explain how the evidence from the text supports your answer. You may use signal words such as these quotes show that, or this supports the statement. Do not just repeat your answer and your evidence. So here's this example number 2. It comes from a short story called Raymond's Run. And the question is, does Squeaky's attitude do more to help her or hurt her in the story? Let's look at a student's response to that question. This student raced it. They used the race strategy. R, Squeaky's attitude. So this student repeated part of the question in the answer. And then A, answered it. Does more to help her. Squeaky's attitude does more to help her. Now the student C, cited evidence. In the story, Squeaky says, I'm the fastest thing on 2 feet. Now E, explain. Explain how that evidence proves your answer. If she thinks she is the fastest, she must have a confident attitude. I know this attitude helped her because she won the race. Now I highlighted 2 different things here. Here's why. Here's a good tip. You put words from both your answer and your C cited evidence in your explanation. So notice I put the fastest. That came from my cited evidence. And then helped her, that came from my answer. If I refer to both the answer and my cited evidence in my explanation, then I know my explanation shows the connection between my answer and my cited evidence. It is best to approach this task with the mindset that your assignment is to prove a point, and you must give evidence to prove it. Next, explain. How does that evidence prove your point? The challenge is to not merely repeat the answer and the evidence in the explanation. So let's take a look at one last sample response that did that successfully. Example number 3. The question was, how can people and animals relate to each other? So we're using the ACE strategy, ACE. A, people and animals can relate to each other. Notice I restated part of the question in my answer. When we work through struggles. That's my A answer. C, now I need to cite evidence. A piece of evidence to support that is, notice I used a signal word or signal phrase there, is in paragraph 4 of Reading Buddies. It states, To a struggling reader, an animal listener can produce less anxiety than a human listener. Pearson 4. Also in paragraph 8, it states, reading calms the animals down and makes them more comfortable around people. Pearson 8. Now it's time to eat. Explain. This evidence supports my answer because both the person and the animal are challenged, so they can relate. The person is challenged with anxiety while reading, and the dog with anxiety around people. The dog helps the person by creating a safe environment for the student to practice reading. The person helps the dog by creating a soothing environment with his or her reading voice. So notice I underlined the word challenged, and here's why. I wanted to show you that I used a synonym in my explanation. Up there in my answer, I used the word struggles. Then in my explanation, I used the word challenged. I also put the evidence in my own words. So what does that show? That shows that I really understand the text because I was able to put it in my own words. So what am I looking for? What am I, as your teacher, looking for in your response? I am looking for you to repeat part of the question in your answer. Answer the question correctly. Use signal words to organize your response. Use words from both the answer and the evidence in your explanation. And do not just repeat your answer and evidence in the explanation, but actually explain. Then, after some practice, I will then challenge you to, while citing evidence from a text, frame a quote by citing a source and a page number. While explaining, use synonyms to show understanding. While explaining, put things in your own words. So this strategy will help you to give a thorough and effective response to text. It is time to give it a try.